What's going on, everyone? Welcome to today's Wise 5 Picks stream. Hope you had a nice weekend. I know I enjoyed my couple days off from the stream. Not that I hate you guys. I don't hate you guys, but it was nice to have a little break. And some good news. We have Ben back today. So welcome back, Ben.
What's up, guys? I know you all miss me.
How was your wedding? Or not literally your wedding, but the wedding that you were at.
It was fun. Yeah, it was a good time. I didn't have a lot of service, which at first kind of sucked, but then I was like, you know what? I'm off the grid. So
Yeah, you were down in like bumfuck New Mexico.
I know, literally. And then I was like trying to check scores and it wasn't loading. And I was like, whatever,
Yep.
it's fine.
I didn't absolutely tank our record while Ben was gone, which was nice.
Yeah, it wasn't 0-5, so I'll live with that.
Yeah, so the second stream was not as good as the first one. It was a 1-4 day. Just on Saturday, we lost the Nationals money line. That was just a weird game. Won the under 8 in Atlanta and Milwaukee, the Battle of the Andersons. So that was nice. We back. Yup. Lost the White Sox team total over 4.5, which was the only game that they've lost all year against a left-handed starter. So I was kind of sad that, like, we're on the wrong end of that. Lost Martin Perez under 4.5 Ks. I was ranting about that in the Discord. He finished with 5. He got multiple called strike threes on pitches that were outside of the strike zone, and I was really mad, and I'm still kind of mad about it. But, you know,
Yeah, Nick was not happy about that.
no,
He
I'm not.
let me
There was
know.
there was a called strike 3 on a pitch that missed the strike zone by like 3 inches, and that cost us the prop.
There's been a lot of those videos floating around from high school and college, and of course MLB too, where it's just terrible, egregious strikeout calls. It's pretty funny. So, where I'm getting with this is the robots are coming. I don't
The
know if it's going to be
robots
next year, but it's coming.
Are in fact on their way. And lastly, we lost the no-run first inning in Cleveland, Seattle, because that was the day with 14 of 15 Yerfies hitting. And the only one that missed, or the only Nerfie that actually hit on Saturday, was the one game where there was no starter announced for Miami, and you couldn't even get the line during stream time. So we were doomed. There was literally no way to win unless we went with a Yerfie.
The Nerfies, man. Yesterday, I think only 2 hit. No, there are only, I think, 9 games on, but
Yeah, they've been a little rough.
you gotta pick the spots, be selective. But I think we got a good one today.
Yeah, I think we got a good one as well. So, cumulative record so far, we are 85 picks in, sitting at 50 wins, 37 losses, and 3 pushes. Good for plus 16.6 units. I'm excited for this week. We got another 25 picks on the way. We're going to break 100 for the on-stream count. And yeah, just like Matt said, let's make lots of money.
The Nerfie is dead.
Yeah, the value on the general Nerfie is dead.
I think what happened is the Nerfies got off to such a hot start where a lot of bettors were like, "Oh my gosh, this is so fun and easy, and you win your money in the first inning, and this is great." And then
Yeah.
it kind of regressed a little bit.
Yeah, no, there's no such thing as like all of the Nerfies are good value or all of the Yerfies are good value. It's just about each individual game. A lot of them at this point have no value on either side because the VIG is so high that the books place on these.
Hey, Jack, don't be sorry because I actually like the Reds. It's Nick who doesn't.
Ben and I disagreed on the Reds Giants game, I think more than we've disagreed on any game so far this year.
I think, yeah. Well, I think it's just we're very like opposite ends of the spectrum.
I think Ben was ready to place Reds money line as a wise pick, and I was ready to place Giants money line as a wise pick.
Yeah.
I think that's
But
how much we disagree.
I will say though that pick is one of those F the numbers type thing. Like I just have a feeling, a gut feeling, which more times than not doesn't work out for the most of us.
And
But
I'm just like, look at the numbers.
I know. We'll see. I mean, it's going to be a fun one to watch.
Yeah, I mean,
Actually, that's a good point. The first 5 would actually, for what I'm thinking, would be the better bet because the Reds bullpen has just been so
So
trash,
I mean,
but
we can talk about that game because I think that everybody's really curious, and I don't know what it is that everybody's suddenly like, this is the game that Castillo's gonna turn back into his old self.
Destiny.
Why?
You ever see a Disney movie, Nick?
Yes, I have seen a Disney movie.
Just cue the music, and then Castillo just throws a no-hitter. Beautiful.
He could. I mean, so I posted an article in our subscribers Discord earlier. I'll throw it in the general one later on. But there's some stuff that's really fundamentally wrong with Castillo. It kind of boils down to his changeup. He's lost some velocity kind of across the board, and with that, he's lost a lot of rotation on his changeup, and that's causing it to drop a lot more. And it's causing it, because of that, to kind of be easily differentiated by hitters earlier on. And they're just not swinging at it. If they are swinging at it, they're not missing it. He's swinging strike rate has dropped like 20% on his changeup this year from last year and the year before.
Yeah, that obviously is alarming.
And that's his K pitch. So if his K pitch isn't getting swinging strikes because he's not throwing it hard enough and he's not getting enough rotation, that's not something that you fix in a week. Like, there's not a lot of noise in those numbers. Like, if your arm is weaker, your arm is weaker. It's not like it's not a bad luck thing. It's just a.
I did fade Castillo last outing.
You did twice in a row. You've called team totals over against Castillo.
So at least I'm not like, this Castillo guy who's like, oh man, he's gonna get it back. Like, he's my guy. I just think that I know what you showed me, but at the same time, I mean, he has had about four off days that if he can just figure out like what's off, and they literally wrote a full-fledged article on it. So
it's one thing to identify what's wrong. It's another thing to actually be able to fix it. You can't just increase your velocity by 2 miles an hour. That's not something that you can just snap your fingers and do.
If they see something's off on film where maybe his plant foot isn't where it needs to be, or he's shifting his shoulders too early, you'd be surprised. Having said that, Nick, I can't bank on that happening.
But I feel like the Reds pick is a bank on that happening.
Maybe it is.
Right?
Okay. Also, the line, you have to admit though, Vegas almost feels like he's going to bounce back. Why are they favored then?
I think they want people to bet on the Reds. I think they want people to buy into the Castillo is going to be better again story.
I mean, if you're a public bettor though, who are you betting on?
You're betting on the Reds because you know the name Luis Castillo and you don't know the name
I think
Anthony
you're betting
DeSclafani.
on the Giants. Look at that 1-5, 7.5 ERA. Who's betting on the Reds?
A lot of people are betting on the Reds. I don't see anybody on the Giants.
I looked at the public betting, and the public numbers are on the Giants.
Well,
that's why the line shifted.
We'll just have to let this one play out, see what happens.
That's fair. Also, Brandon Belt being in is going to be huge too. So he's questionable still. So
yeah, we'll have to see about that.
He's a difference maker in the lineup.
Also,
let's get to some.
Just real quick. All of this talk is about Castillo. Like, Anthony DeSclafani is a beast right now. And you can identify the causes why DeSclafani is pitching so well.
Yeah, tell him. Everyone hates the Reds. The sharp people are on the Reds today. I'm just saying. Nick's face when I said sharp. He's like, oh God, here we go with the sharp money.
But so DeSclafani, his last year, I think it was his sinker. I closed the article, so I forget exactly what pitch it was. But it was literally the worst sinker. I think it was sinker. It might have been a slider. But in the entire league last year. And it's been the best one in the whole league this year. He worked on it in the offseason. He turned it into a plus pitch, and he's getting outs with it. Like, you can actually identify the cause. It's not good luck. DeSclafani is the real deal.
See what Joey Votto has to say about that.
Yes, we will. But yeah, so a pick. We have some picks that we disagree on, like that one, but we do have some picks that we agree on, and specifically 5 of them that we have ready to share with all of you. Our wise 5 picks of the day. So let's start off with the money line pick. Oh, and also, I'm sure you all saw this in the title and in the Discord, but we are, or I guess mostly Ben is, going to be talking about the NBA playoffs when we're done with the wise picks. So be sure to stay tuned for that.
Yep. Oh, and also, Nick, I didn't even tell you. So the guest we were going to have on could not basically break his contract to do that, which is totally understandable. But we're going to have another guest on. So
Cool.
stay tuned for that later in the week.
Can you
we'll do
spoil who the guest is or not?
Yeah, I can say it. It's Harrison Wind of DMVR. So he's been, referenced by ESPN and a lot of different NBA sources, and he has a really good pulse on the league. So we're gonna do basically a full-fledged playoff breakdown and talk about maybe some future plays and potential matchups, because I think that's what it really comes down to is the potential series matchups, right? Like in the NBA, you could get lucky and beat a team once, but beating them 4 times, it really comes down to matchups. So he'll be a great source of information, and I think we'll do that either Thursday or Friday, but we'll let you know.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So today's money line wise pick of the day is going to be the Chicago White Sox at minus 109 against the Minnesota Twins. So this White Sox Twins series is really interesting, I think. So these two teams played a series against each other last week. They're playing another series against each other today. We've been all over the games between these teams on the Wise Picks. We had in the first time around, we had a White Sox team total over that hit, and then game 2 we had the under between these teams, and it also hit. Yesterday in the subscribers Discord, I posted the over in the White Sox Twins game because we had the same J.A. Happ, Dallas Keuchel matchup, and that hit. And now we have the same Lance Lynn, Michael Pineda matchup where our under hit last week. But the deal here is that Lance Lynn he's pitching out of his mind. Is what it comes down to, really. He's made 6 starts on the year. He's allowed 0 runs in 4 of those starts, including last time out against Minnesota, where he went 5 innings, gave up 2 hits, struck out 9. Lynn is going to destroy this cold Twins lineup. On the flip side, Pineda, he also pitched well against the White Sox. He's been pitching well in general, but he's been really home run prone. He's given up 8 home runs in 7 starts this year. I think that the White Sox are going to put in 2 off Pineda, something along those lines, maybe 2, maybe 3. The Twins will get 0 or 1 off of Lynn, and then the White Sox bullpen finishes off the deal. And no, it doesn't scare me that 85% of the bets are on the White Sox. We lost Ben. He should be back.
Oh, am I back? What happened?
Your video feed cut out.
Oh, 1 second. It's weird.
But yeah, I don't care at all where the money is, where the bets are. I trust myself. Like I don't look at that kind of stuff at all. I think it's an easy way to convince yourself that a bad bet is a good bet and scare yourself off a good bet. Just by looking at all that.
It's kind of like when someone offers you some food and they're like, "I really like it," and then in your head you're like, "Oh, like it's good." Yeah,
It's like
Did that make sense?
I have a better analogy. It's
Okay.
like going to a restaurant and then judging whether you like it based on the reviews of the restaurant.
Oh yeah, there you go. That yeah, it's kind of like a subconscious bias that I think there are some bettors that are really good who can separate the two, but it's really hard to do. Kind of like when you bet on your favorite team, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can say like, "Oh well, no, they're gonna win." Like I know they're my team, but it's like, it's kind of ingrained in
Ben
you.
comes at me with some kind of Rockies play first thing in the morning every day, almost every day.
They've been hitting, baby.
It's hard for me to
I mean,
tell.
it's not always on the Rockies.
It's hard for me to tell if it's your daily Rockies lean or if it's like a pick that you actually really love.
I'm telling you, the Rockies have been a great team to bet on or against in games. Some of the lines are just the books haven't figured this team out, and I think I have. So if Jason, you're in there and you guys need a little extra help, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry, I'm not going to help the books out. Sorry.
I think.
But anyways,
I think Lynn did get hit by a ball in the last start, which is why he only threw 5 innings despite pitching great. But I think he's going to be fine today, is what the reports say.
Okay, so the one thing that does scare me in this game, which kind of sounds silly, but the Twins took super offense to the whole 3-0 count. What's his face was on the mound, pitching. 47 mile per hour ball out of the zone and the guy crushes it. Okay, I don't have a problem with that because it's like, dude, I mean, if you have a chance to hit a home run, fucking crush the ball. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I don't care.
If you're going to throw a 47 mile an hour meatball,
crush that.
Yeah, exactly. Like you deserve.
Also, that guy's he's a rookie or maybe a second year guy, so like he needs to get his stats up too. So anyways, apparently the Twins are very upset about that. So that's not enough for me to not play this and be like, oh, the Twins are going to come out hot because the Twins have just been sucking. But that's the one thing in this one that potentially could scare me. But I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, it's possible.
There might be a fight too because apparently there was there's some other bad blood.
Can we bet
before
on that?
So no, but I want to watch this and because if there's I love baseball fights. Like, sorry, I'm not a violent person, but come on, a baseball fight every once in a while is not bad for the game, in my opinion.
I agree.
Yeah.
So Jack says the bet percentage stuff scares you in the NBA. Yeah, because the NBA is rigged. That's the difference. It's like there's referees in the NBA right now who were like BFFs with Tim Donaghy and involved in his stuff, and still are somehow allowed to ref games. Like
also,
the NBA
Nick,
is actually rigged.
So with the playing games, how the Lakers and Warriors play each other, the loser gets another chance to make it.
It's like a Swiss system.
Yeah, I was telling my mom, I was like, Mom, there's like a 1% chance I feel like that both those teams are going to get in one way or another. It's like the storybook's already written. Like Lakers, Warriors in the playoffs. They're going to find a way. So we'll leave it at
that. And we need to rewrite the unwritten rules. I completely agree with you, Jake. Completely agree. There's a lot of people with J names.
Yeah, Jack, Jacob.
We have Jack, Jake, and Jared.
Mm-hmm.
That was completely besides any kind of point, but yeah, I just realized that. Anyways, next up, we have our game total wise pick of the day. This involves a team that I've loved betting on their unders on recently. And it's going to be under 7.5 runs in the game between the Milwaukee Brewers and the Kansas City Royals. So let me find this. Yeah, sitting right here. Under 7.5 is at plus 100. So I love the plus money on this. So this really comes down to everything about this one, really. I mean, I love this play. It's Brandon Woodruff on the mound for the Brewers. I mean, there's not a whole lot that you need to say about Woodruff. He's an absolute stud. He's made 8 starts this year. He's given up 9 earned runs in 8 starts. I mean, he's a phenomenal pitcher. Also, the Royals are ice cold. They are ice cold. They were like 16-3 or something, and now
Crazy.
they're 18-22.
That's baseball for you.
They're not scoring runs.
Crazy.
On the flip side, we have Chris Bubic or something along those lines on the mound. Probably Bubic on the mound.
I think Bubic.
Or Bubic.
Sorry if you're a family member of him in this chat, but we apologize.
On the mound for Kansas City. He's making his first start of the year. He's made 4 relief appearances. Super highly touted prospect coming up last year. He was ranked just outside the top 100 in the entire league. He's got fantastic stuff. In his big league career across 10 starts last year and 4 relief appearances this year, 59 Ks in 62.2 innings. He's got real swing and miss stuff. Some control issues every now and then, but I'm not super worried about it. The thing that I really like, though, is the left-handed bat, or the left-handed arm, going into the left-handed lineup of the lefty-heavy lineup of the Brewers. So Colton Wong is a lefty, Travis Shaw is a lefty, Dan Vogelbach is a lefty, and Omar Narvaez is a lefty. Wong and Shaw are certainly going to be in there. They might throw out a different first baseman and a different catcher. But if they do, those are downgrades, just from a talent perspective from Vogelbach and Narvaez. And I just think that Bubic is going to give up a couple runs, probably, but not a lot. I think if we get to the bullpens in a game with 3 or 4 runs on the board, I think that's very realistic. Then I love our chances here.
You said everything I was going to say, so Brandon Woodruff, I mean, enough said there. He's on, so I like this play.
Yeah, I think getting this at 7.5 at plus 100 is an absolute steal.
Yeah,
I'd like this if it was 7 and even money.
It's a Royals lineup too, offensively, who hasn't seen Woodruff, so I think that even benefits him even more so in this matchup. So great spot for Milwaukee.
Yeah, only 2 guys on the Royals have seen Woodruff before. Carlos Santana 0-3, Michael A. Taylor 0-4. And that goes both ways also. Bubic actually, well, it looks like he has faced several guys on the Brewers. 0-2 is Yelich, Avisel Garcia 0-3, Tyrone Taylor 0-2, Luis Urias 0-1.
Yeah, and is Yelich still out?
It says here that Yelich is potentially going to be in. That might be breaking. So on the
I'm just curious. He didn't play.
Yeah, he hasn't been in the lineup.
He hasn't played. Yeah. So potentially, but
he's rejoined the team ahead of its 2-game series in Kansas City.
Yeah,
he wasn't in the projected lineup that I looked at earlier, but he's on it now.
Yeah. Well, either way, I think it could be a DH role, but we'll see at the least. But that doesn't scare me too much yet. I mean, first game back, I don't think he's going to come out and hit a home run.
Yeah.
Knock on wood.
All right, are you ready for pick number 3, Ben?
I am.
So our third wise pick of the day, our team total, is going to be the Baltimore Orioles under 4 runs at -125 against the Tampa Bay Rays. So Ben, fill us in on this one.
Yeah, let's talk about the Rays pitcher, Luis Patino. He's been outstanding. Now, the interesting thing with him is he's not going to go super deep into the game. I think in his, 2 starts, it looks like he only saw not even 3 innings and then 4 innings against New York. But that's just how they pitch him. So it's, it's not.
I mean, he was in the bullpen. His arm is still kind of building up that strength. And we're seeing an
Exactly.
increase in the innings game over game.
Yeah, which is great news because yeah, if we can get 5 out of him today, I would love that. I think 5 would be a great number, and the Rays bullpen has been solid too as well. So, we have that going for us. But the big thing here, and this is something that Nick and I kind of discovered within the last hour before we hopped on the stream, and we even liked this play before we saw this.
Oh, I only signed off on it until I saw this.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even see this. And it was kind of like the last check mark to see, if they were number 1, we'd be like, whoa, we're staying away from this. But they are dead last. And what I mean by dead last is the Orioles are dead last in batting numbers against right-handed pitchers. And that's going off WOBA, which is an advanced metric, but it takes out a few different things to kind of even the stats across the board. So this is a great matchup for him and a bad matchup for the Orioles bats. I think they have 7 righties on their lineup in a switch hitter, which is a super heavy right-handed batting lineup. So we got it at 4. We saw it at 3.5, and we still liked it. So now we get 4. I think it's a great play.
Yeah, I think we were gonna have this on here at under 3.5 plus 100. So I still like it a lot there. We found the 4 at minus 125, and I think that paying that 30 cents for the push at 4 is very worth it for us. But again,
Nick, do you have a WOBA off the top of your head? What all goes into that? I always forget. It's like the weight. It's
weighted on base average. Here, there's the exact formula.
There it is. Yep. What do you think happened?
The stream crashed. Are we back? Testing.
See, I'm showing it on my end, and I'm seeing black.
Yeah, I see black. Okay, I think. Are we back? Can anybody confirm if we're back? Oh, yeah, I can see myself talking over here. I think we're good.
Yeah, we're back.
Okay, the stream completely crashed for a little bit. I've never seen that before. Like, we've dropped frames every now and then, but I got this big red warning says like the stream has disconnected, trying to reconnect. Like but yeah, we're good. Okay. Thank you for not leaving. Appreciate that. Anyways, yeah. So WOBA is like fancy OPS. Long story short. But regardless of what metric you look at, I mean, what WOBA isn't necessarily important here. If you look at something like WRC plus, they're third from the bottom. If you look at something like batting average, they're also pretty much right down at the bottom. They have the third worst batting average against right-handed pitching. So yeah.
Yeah.
The Orioles bad. TLDR.
Yep. And I didn't look at the expected bullpen to come into the game, but I think if we can get 5 innings out of him, we're still feeling pretty good because the bullpen as a whole is solid. So lefty or righty, I'm not going to get too concerned because then at that point you're just trying to guess who's going to be coming in, and I think that gets a little too deep in the weeds, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, so also we know it's not going to be Fleming who's going to come in, who's a lefty. So Fleming threw 5 innings after Patino threw 4 in Patino's last start, but Fleming started a game and threw 5 2 days ago. So it's not going to be him. We know that much.
Yeah, so not going to overcomplicate this one. I like it a lot.
Mm-hmm. So next up, we have our player prop of the day. And we did a lot of discussing about player props. That was the reason why the stream started like 10 minutes late today, is because it took us a long time to settle on one. But our player prop today is going to be Andrew Heaney over 6.5 Ks at minus 103 against the Cleveland Indians. So Heaney is a guy who is very hit or miss, we'll say. He has fantastic stuff, but is kind of prone to implode every now and then. So for reference, Heaney has had a start this year against Houston, where he threw 6 innings, gave up 2 hits, 1 run, struck out 10. Hola, Ticheri. You're good. He had a start against Tampa, where he threw 6.2 innings, 4 hits. Oh, yeah. We said it when the stream went down. Yes, 100% still like it there. We were going to put it on the Wise Picks at that number. But then PointsBet moved it to 4. So we're like, okay, we'll take that instead. That's even better. But yeah, so Heaney, 6.2 innings against Tampa, 4 hits, no earned, 10 Ks. He had a start against Toronto, 6 innings, 3 hits, no earned, 9 Ks. Those are 3 pretty good offenses that he's absolutely dominated. On the flip side, he's had a game against Seattle where he went 3.1 innings, gave up 6 hits, 4 earned, 5 Ks. So I think what we're expecting here is that we're gonna get good Heaney and not bad Heaney, or at least it's a good value at minus 103 that we're gonna get good Heaney and not bad Heaney. Let me see. So we have minus 106 for this on DraftKings. I think PointsBet is where
Nick,
we got
let me
minus
make a point
103.
real quick.
Yeah.
I think this is a hard number to come up with for the books because, like Nick said, it's been hit or miss. He's had 9, 10, and 10 strikeouts in 3 games, but he's also had 5, 5, 6, and then 4. So I think this could be a 7 in theory, but yeah, I don't know. You kind of see where I'm getting at, Nick. It's one of those where it's like,
yeah. So they never
have
give
some
out
numbers to go off of, but
they never give out whole numbers for the K props.
I've
never seen one.
Sometimes
I've never seen one.
Maybe I'm just making that up.
I think you're making that up.
Yeah, because 7.5 would probably be a little.
7.5 is definitely way too high.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Cleveland's bats are also a little cold. They have a lot of swing and miss guys in the lineup. And the bottom half of the lineup is kind of weak, just in general. So you have at the bottom, it's looking like Yu Chang at first base, Austin Hedges at catcher, Harold Ramirez in center field, Ahmed Rosario at short. I mean, those are all guys who are pretty easy K targets, and they're all the righties. And then at the top of the lineup, you have the lefties and the switch hitters. So I think it's just a good situation for Heaney. Also, let me find this again. I think over the last 2 weeks, which I mean, of course, is a little arbitrary, but Cleveland's strikeout numbers are way up over the last couple of weeks. So they're the worst hitting team in the league over the last 2 weeks. Where is it? They're right down there in the worst. Again, it just depends on what metric you use. But striking out at like 24% recently, as opposed to more like 20% over the course of the year. So the bats are cold. I think Heaney's primed for a bounce back after giving up 5 runs in his last start. I like the spot for him to have a good game here. Long story short.
Yep.
Or that's more like long story long.
Yeah, that was a long story, but yeah, let's go Heaney.
Let's go Heaney.
Buy a rookie card from him if he hits this bet.
So you ready for the last Wise pick, Ben?
I am.
So we have our Nerfy coming up. And for the Nerfy, we're going to go with the same Nerfy that we took 5 days ago when these two teams and these same 2 pitchers played each other before. We have no run first inning in the game today between Andrew Gomber and the Colorado Rockies and Blake Snell and the San Diego Padres, locking this in at minus 122. So Ben, tell us about this Nerfy.
Yeah, so initially we looked at this and we said minus 122 an actual good value play, and the deeper we looked into it, we found out that it is pretty good value. And the big thing for me is the Rockies offensively have been struggling on the road, and they're in somewhat of a pitcher's park, so we have that going for us. And Snell's been decent. Snell has been pretty good in first innings. Also, Tatis is still out, so I think that's the big thing with these nerfies, with games involving the Padres, is Tatis in that second spot. I mean, that's just a huge threat that dramatically impacts the odds, and he is still out. So, having said all that, yes, we like this nerfy, and I think Gomber on the road has been decent. His curveball has more movement than it does at Coors, and he's been solid. I think he's a guy that is continually going to improve throughout the season. So I think there are spots like this where we can grab some value. So we like no runs in the first inning here.
So Ben, I have some bad news. We lost our minus 122 here by a pretty big margin.
What's it at?
Minus 135 now.
Can we find it elsewhere?
So the minus 122 was on DraftKings. They changed it to an under 1.5 for some unknown reason. So that's sad.
What in the world?
I don't know why they did that.
I'm looking at PointsBet, but
I checked all three. So PointsBet has it at minus 145. Superbook is minus 135. Minus 120 on FanDuel. I mean, I definitely take it there. I don't know if we're going to lock it in on the stream at 135.
If we can get it at 120 on FanDuel.
Are we allowed to use FanDuel?
I think we're allowed to.
Okay.
I want to confirm, though. I mean, I have no hard feelings against FanDuel. I know we're not, officially partnered with them, but let's see here. Yeah, because that number is definitely going to change. Because this is naturally what everyone does, right? They start looking at these, and then they find it on FanDuel, and then it's kind of the last one to move up. I've seen this so many different times.
So yeah, there it is on. It's on FanDuel minus 120. Is that cheating? I kind of feel like it's cheating.
I don't think it's cheating. It's not like we're going to like an offshore site.
That's true.
I mean, it's minus 160 on Bovada. Yeah, we're definitely not going to.
Yeah, let's lock it in at minus 160.
What the heck? Half the time I'm like, what is Bovada doing?
All right, so we're gonna take the number on FanDuel just because DraftKings took our number away. I mean, I think we're still gonna leave FanDuel out of the rotation of books.
Yeah, this is a one. But can someone really get mad? Are they going to be like?
No, I don't think anybody's going to get mad. I mean, a lot of people use FanDuel. It's a legit book.
So I'm fine with that.
Yeah. So, yeah, and I think Ben said everything that there is to say about this one. So also, before we hop into NBA preview, I have a very off the cuff player prop that I want to talk about for just a split second. This is certainly not one that was going to ever make the Wise 5 because it's so risky. But there's a home run prop at a really big number that I'm kind of into today. Not a Wise pick. Don't play this big, or don't play it at all even.
Don't play this, but here it is.
But hold on, I want to see if the DraftKings has lines up for this yet. I kind of doubt it.
Yeah, this was a number I didn't look into it, but when you told me, I was like, "Whew!"
All right, so home run prop. Robbie Grossman to hit a home run at plus 600.
Robbie Grossman.
Okay, so just Robbie Gross. So Justin Dunn, first off, is a guy that we've picked on for home run props before successfully. He's not a good pitcher at all. And Robbie Grossman in his career against Dunn, 2 for 3 with 2 home runs. And he's batting leadoff, so he's going to get a lot of plate appearances. This is a value that I like. Again, I don't think we're ever going to put a plus 600 home run prop on the Wise Picks. But if you're looking to throw like a tenth of a unit on something, then this is it. All right. Done with that.
I was just looking at his career, and he didn't even go to college.
I mean, did he come from high school?
Yeah, so it's just interesting.
So tons of baseball players didn't go to college.
Yeah, but it's interesting if you're. I feel like if you're from the States, you usually, because you can still play in college.
No, you can't.
Can you?
No, you can't. If you
play in college, you can't play in the MLB.
No, but if you get drafted out of high school and you sign with your team, then you can't play in college.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But he played in the minors for like 5 years, so it's not like like he was good enough to. He wasn't good enough to just play.
Ben, everybody plays in the minors. There's been one player in the last 10 years who hasn't played in the minors.
Who? Ohtani?
No. Okay, one guy who was drafted, who went straight from. There's only one guy who's gone straight from college or high school, straight to the majors. It's what's his name? He's a reliever for the White Sox right now. He was their first round pick last year. Hold on. Trying to find it real quick. Garrett Crochet.
Interesting.
Went straight from University of Tennessee to the majors last year. He was the first guy since Mike Leake to make their MLB debut before ever playing in the minors after being drafted. And before Leake, I think you have to go back to the World War II era to find another guy.
Crazy.
So everybody plays in the minors. And
he should have gone to college, though.
Why?
I'm looking at his numbers.
He's in the MLB. He's making millions of dollars. He did something right. I also, Ben, tons and tons and tons of players get drafted out of high school. It's like a ton of top players are all drafted out of high school. And then
I guess I just read it because he was going to go to Texas, and then he left Texas. And
what was his signing?
I'm not hating on him. I'm just pointing it out.
You were hating on him.
No, he was. I don't like his numbers. I hope he hits home run today.
He got $1 million signing bonus after he got drafted.
He's only making $600K a year now.
Well, because he's. I don't know. I guess he's not. Or is he still on? No, Ben. He's signed a 2-year, $10 million deal with the Tigers.
Okay, Wikipedia is wrong.
No, I'm reading Wikipedia.
Oh wait, I see. No, I was looking at the.
You're smoking some shit right now.
I was looking at I was looking at Google. It said his salary, $407,000, but it did say 2016. They just haven't updated it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I hope he hits a home run. That'd be funny. And then I can buy a Robbie Grossman Bowman Chrome first.
Mm-hmm. So Jack says, love the over in the Jays game. Ben kind of liked a team total over in that one. Ben, if you want to touch on that some more, feel free.
Did I?
Yeah, the
Was
Red
it
Sox.
that one? Oh, yeah. Sorry, I saw Jays and A's, and I was like, wait. Yeah, I like the Red Sox, except Nick pointed out the wind, and then I was
there's like an 18-mile-an-hour wind blowing in that one, which kind of scares me. Because they are, especially I guess both teams really are kind of home run heavy teams as far as their run production is concerned, so that wind scares me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that was enough for me to stay off of it. So,
and then also
A's.
Yeah, A's and Astros. It's kind of tough, I think. So Christian Javier is a guy whose strikeout prop I was looking at. Sean Manaea is also really good. But he's kind of struggled against Houston. He's been good against Houston and bad against Houston. Javier has been a little hit and miss also. It's not a game that I got a really good read on, I think.
Yeah, and I think I'm biased and I like Javier a lot, so I'm pretty sure I like his strikeout props like every game to go over. So yeah, I don't really know what to expect in that one.
Yeah, I just didn't have a good read on it.
But Javier is fun to watch, though. That's for sure.
Yeah, he's got.
Also,
he's got good
Nick
stuff.
wanted to give Bookit a quick shout out, of course, sponsoring the stream. If you guys haven't already, make sure to download the Bookit app on Android and Apple, iOS, of course. You can find me on there. A lot of good stuff happening. Playoff hockey. It was fun. It was actually really fun being on there last night because I don't follow hockey like a lot of you guys do, but I watched the playoffs, of course, because it's NHL hockey playoffs. It's awesome. But everyone was on there sweating their bets out together. Shout out to the Avs, 1-0 baby.
Yeah, Avs looked real good yesterday.
Did Caps win last night?
No, they lost in OT. Marchand scored in overtime. It was sad.
What game is Hermo on? Hermo Hammer. Oh, Nick, we got to change our picks. Just kidding.
I don't look at what Hermo says. I don't look at what anybody says.
Hermo was really hot, and then...
I mean, it's almost like if the Nerfies as a whole are hitting at 70%, you're going to be hot.
Yeah, I know.
And then when the Yerfies are hitting at like 70% and you're still on all the Nerfies, you're going to be cold.
Yeah, you can kind of tell when our Discord had like 3 or 4 people posting his Twitter page and his pics, and then now I don't think anyone is.
No.
So that's how you kind of know. And I mean, it's fine. You go on these streaks, but the thing with us is we try. Of course we'll take a 5-0 day, but we try not to be streaky. I mean, it's hard to predict that in advance, but I think if you kind of go by the same principles, you're not going to go super high, super low through, weeks at a time, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I don't like the Nerfy hammer here. I'll say that much. Big wind blowing out. I think it's like 13 or 14 miles an hour straight out to center.
Got to hit the ball still.
Plus a couple home run prone pitchers. I mean, so Javier's given up 4 in his last 3 games. Manea's given up. He gave up 2 last time out. Given up 6 in 8 starts this year. I'm like, eh.
So he's on the Nerfy.
He's like,
I assume
he's got to be on the Nerfy. He's always on the Nerfies. He's the Nerfy expert. That's his job title, or something like that.
He goes to the bar. They're like, "Hey, man, you that Nerfy guy, eh?" Gets in a fight with a Nerfy guy. Boom. Knock his ass out. Shall we talk some NBA playoffs?
Absolutely. Let's talk some NBA playoffs. Also, Ben, real quick, because I was just curious. Do you think Trevor Story made a mistake by not going to college? He had a baseball scholarship at LSU, but got drafted by the Rockies and decided to sign with them.
No,
instead.
he was an all-star. Well, I'll put it this way: if he stays on the Rockies the rest of his career, he made a mistake. We'll leave it at that.
That's an excellent point.
Hindsight's always 20/20,
Alrighty. So I'm
the Wizards
pulling up some NBA odds. We have 2 play-in games today. It's the start of the NBA playoffs. It's time for the players to actually try. Oh,
to
also,
play?
Yeah, exactly. TKO, thank you for the follow earlier, by the way. Forgot to read that off.
Man.
And Ben, yeah, you got that early wake and bake.
You know what's funny? Everyone is like, "Oh, you're born and raised in Colorado. You must smoke weed every day." I'm like, I don't even smoke at all, but I support it. It's just funny, like, "Oh, you're from Colorado."
Yeah.
And you're like,
420, man.
I like the sports bet, but
fellow smokers.
So it's funny.
Hey,
we support things that don't hurt other people. So.
Like
okay, so real quick, if you guys aren't familiar with this play-in tournament, I had to research this myself because it was a little confusing at first. The first game, Nick has it on screen here. Hornets, Pacers. This is an elimination game because this is the 10-9 game. So the winner moves on to face the winner, the winner of this game moves on to face the loser of the 7-8 game, which is Boston, Washington. If you lose this game, you're out. If you win, you still have to win one more game to face I think it's the 76ers, which not a good matchup for either team. But that's the breakdown. So it's again, this is the first time we've done this. Kind of curious to see how it's going to play out. The East isn't as exciting, I would say, just because I don't really think any of the teams playing today have a shot to win a series. But the West tomorrow, we'll touch on those games tomorrow. There'll be some fun games. But as far as this one goes, Hornets, Pacers, Chris Levert's out. So that's
lines are down everywhere.
That's funny. It just happened. I don't know. Some news just came out. Levert's been out for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. So
yeah, we still have a line on DraftKings, but it's down on Superbook and it's down on PointsBet.
I'm curious. Maybe someone in the chat could see if there was any news that came out. But as far as this one goes, I don't really know what to expect because I kind of feel like the Hornets are happier to be in this position because they're a young team and they're like, oh man, we're in the playing game. Like, the Pacers kind of had a underachieving season, more or less. I thought they would be a top 4 seed in the East, and they had their injuries and all that kind of stuff. But I think if you want to play that card, the motivation factor, you got to go with the Hornets here. This one I didn't have a really strong lean, and I looked at player props, and I didn't really know what to expect because LeVert being out is huge. And, off the top, I wanted to play like a Malcolm Brogdon player prop over points or points, rebounds, assists. But for this one, probably just going to lean with the Hornets. I'm not going to be betting it myself, but yeah, because I think that they took a lot of the player props down for the Pacers too. Do you see any on DraftKings?
There's a few.
Curious, Brogdon's on there.
I don't see a line for Brogdon.
Yeah, it's almost like they're trying to figure out like what they're going to set it at. Because I think LeVert being out affects Brogdon the most versus like a guy like Sabonis. But
yeah, there's lines for Sabonis still, but nothing for Brogdon.
Jack said it looks like 75% of the tickets they lose 65% of the time.
Do you have actual data on that, or are you kind of approximating?
When I see teams are receiving 75% of the tickets. Yeah, I'm curious. Sometimes
if you have actual data on that, please let me know. Because I want
interesting. Okay, so here's the only thing that scares me using some of those numbers for this is the first time we've ever had a play-in scenario. So do you feel comfortable using regular season stats and numbers and trends to predict a playing game? That you got to answer that question yourself. I don't feel comfortable just because we've seen what happened in the NBA this season. So again, I can't say it's wrong to use those numbers or not. I can't prove that, but that's my 2 cents with that. So yeah, not too much with this one. I'm curious what you guys think in the chat. It just seems like the Hornets are happier to be in this game. I'll put it that way. Pacers kind of limped their way in. They're just kind of like, well,
yeah. So how do you appropriately handicap which team is more motivated?
By going off of that. I mean,
because
that's all you can.
Like that. So this I have a little bit of contention with this kind of handicap just in general. I'm not saying it's wrong in this particular case, but like I've seen it in the soccer channel. in our Discord say. The season's winding down. They're like, this team has a lot to play for. This team has nothing to play for. But like everybody has everything to play for.
Knows that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, so one, it's baked into the lines if it's a factor already.
True.
And two, it's like these are all professionals. They have everything to play for, right? They're playing obviously to win. It's an elimination game in the playoffs. It doesn't matter if they over or underperformed in the regular season. They all want to win just the same. It's not like the Pacers, the pregame speech is going to be, oh, guys, you know, we were supposed to be a 4 seed. We didn't play that well. Don't worry about trying in this one. We'll get them again next year. Like, that just doesn't happen.
And Nick, to that point, I would say that I'm personally not betting this game. But if I were to bet and pick a side, gun to my head, I would pick the Hornets based off that narrative. I would. And I think the other part of it is the Hornets were playing good ball at the end of the season. They looked like a decent team, and it feels like the Pacers just... I mean, it sounds crazy, Nick, but you get to face the 76ers, and I know they're professionals, but I don't know if they believe they can win a series. The Hornets probably are naive, and they're young, and they're like, yeah, bring them on.
I don't know.
I know. I get it, and that's why I'm not betting this one. But that would be my lean. I'm going with Hornets.
Alrighty. You know what's
also, Lions Den, I do follow on TikTok. I don't think he... No disrespect to him, because he's a good capper. I don't think he is tracking those numbers himself. He's getting those from another source, if that makes sense. I don't think...
Well, I mean, also, that's just the numbers for the games that he bet on, not for the games that he didn't bet on.
Yeah, so we're just kind of cherry picking a stat there.
Yeah. I want like full bet percentage data, money percentage data for every single game, just regardless of who bet or didn't bet on it and what the outcomes were.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no way that anybody will ever release that because it'll debunk it as being important.
Well, you could base it off of action,
or it'll prove it as being important.
Do you think it's important?
Me?
If
No.
you were to say...
I don't. I think it's intentionally misleading.
Yeah. But, Nick, I will say, though, if it causes a line move, I think that's a different conversation. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but, I mean, I don't care what causes a line move. If the line, like... I might not be aligned with most people in that sense. I think a lot of people would look at that and see value because the line moved due to some perceived outside influence.
Yes.
But I kind of just don't care. Like, maybe this is naive of me, but I think that those things are only important if you make certain assumptions about the people. So, like, if you trust sharp money, you're basically making two assumptions. One, that the air quotes sharp money, aka the where the big bets are, that those people are actually smart and not just wealthy. And we've talked about that before.
Yeah.
And the second thing is you're also assuming that they're smarter than you. Like you like what they're doing is going to influence the way that you bet. Like why are you even trying to handicap anything ever in the first place if you're kind of admitting that you're not good enough to make the decisions on your own?
It would be like if Nick and I put $100,000 on every game, we would be shut down by most books. It's that simple.
Mm-hmm. And I don't think that, like, one, I don't trust that sharp money is actually sharp money and not just whale money. And two, even if it is coming from sharp people, I don't think that those people are any more sharp than I am. Or that especially that when Ben and I kind of smash our heads together with these picks, I think that's like
literally.
that's the
Nick,
best outcome.
I do want to make a point, though, because I will look at the public money if it's affecting the line move. for example, if a line goes from here's a prime example. We'll talk about this game tomorrow. The Lakers Warriors line opened at +7. Now it's down to I think +4.5. Then if you use those numbers, like you're saying, if the teams receive an X amount of public money, I do get it in theory because it's affecting the value of the line based off the line move. But that's what you should really be focusing on is a line move more than where the money's going. Is that fair to say, Nick?
I suppose.
Just if you were to pick one or the other, I'm saying you should probably look
if I were to
at
pick one or the
line
other,
move.
then I completely agree with you. I would pick neither.
Yeah,
though.
exactly.
I just think if I like it at 4.5, say, then I'm gonna smash it regardless of who else is betting on either side of that or what caused it to get there.
But at the same time, if you could get a favorite at 4.5 and it's at 6.5, you probably should have got it at 4.5.
Yeah, but I mean, so that's a thing. But
Yeah,
again,
so that's
if
kinda
I
where
didn't,
I'm
if I
getting
didn't
at,
have that
but-
opportunity, but I still like it at 6.5, then I'm gonna take it at 6.5. Like, it's not worth being distraught about a number that you can't get anymore.
I think that's fair.
right?
I think that's fair.
Like, was there a
Because some
better
people are
value
like,
before?
oh, I can't
Sure.
touch it. It already moved a point.
Yeah, it's like saying, oh, I can't buy Bitcoin. It used to be cheaper. I can't
3
buy
years
this
later.
stock. It used to be cheaper. I can't sell
Yeah.
my stock. It used to be more expensive.
Yeah. Oh, it's already gone up.
Like, no, if it's a good value, it's a good value. It doesn't matter the path that it took to get there or not. I mean, that's my take.
I'm somewhere in the middle, I would say. But that's good. I'm not, super far on one side or the other. I think I get a little bit of both. But I think Nick makes a good point. If you go in looking at those numbers first and then do your handicapping, you kind of already lost because now you're
Yeah, you're biased.
biased.
You're
So,
toast.
you're toast. Let's talk about another team that's toast.
Is it the
No, well, it's the Celtics because Jaylen Brown got hurt a few weeks back. But it's funny they're favored in this one. This line to me is fishy, but also when you think about it, the Celtics have been very good at home. So I think the number actually makes sense. But Nick, can you pull up Russell Westbrook's numbers over the last 5 games?
Absolutely? Give me a second.
Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. I'll put it this way: his odds to score a triple double or to have a triple double tonight -350, which is crazy to me. But
Yeah, that is pretty.
he kind of
bonkers.
deserves it the way he's been playing.
Yeah, here.
But
so,
yeah, it's pulled up.
So Russell Westbrook last few games. So against Charlotte, 23 points, 10 assists, 15 boards. Game before that, against Cleveland, 21 points, which is the one on the far right, and then 12 boards, 17 assists. I mean, so going back on the last 10 games or so, he's only had 2 games where he hasn't had a triple-double. He had only 5 boards against Atlanta, and he had only 9 assists against Dallas on the first, but every other game in the month of May that he's played, he has had a triple-double.
Yeah. Pretty impressive stuff. I was looking at some of his numbers, and I just think the hard thing is playing anything over for him just because the number is where it should be. You're not going to get a lot of value playing overs, I would say. Like 50.5 rebounds, points, assists. I just feel like there's a lot of margin for error if you play an over. If he gets in foul trouble, you're pretty much toast. But the prop I did like in this one, Nick, is Bradley Beal over 31.5 points. And my thinking with this one is, first and foremost, let's just pray to God there's not a blowout. if I end up like playing a player prop the first game back and there's a blowout, I'm literally going to throw my keyboard. But who knows? I mean, it's the NBA. It's been a wacky season. But he's coming off a 25-point game, and I think a lot of people are scared to take an over here. But at the same time, I don't know if this number really changed much from that game. I think 31.5 is probably where it should be. But I think Bradley Beal in the playoffs. I mean, I'm not going to overthink this one. I like the over here. So I'm personally going to be playing this one.
Sounds good.
Other than that,
anything on Boston's side that you're interested
man,
in prop wise?
So this is the 7-8 game. So the winner is the 7 seed. The loser has one more opportunity on Thursday to play the winner of the Pacers Hornets game. So, man, I kind of lean Wizards, but I don't know. A lot of people are on the Wizards in this one. I think the narrative has been Jaylen Brown being out, and the Celtics are kind of done. But Celtics are a tough team at home, so I'm curious what anyone else has for this one.
I mean, I'm not
Jack.
touching it.
That's funny. We gave so much good information out, and that's what Jack has to say. Nick's probably like, gosh.
I'm like, you can do whatever you want. That's what I'm.
That's true. That's the beauty of sports betting. You know, we can bet any game we want. We don't have to bet every game, which is very important, guys. You don't have to bet every game.
There's so many different bets you can make. Just
if Nick and I bet every game, if we had to bet one game or one play for every game, we'd probably end up close to 52.5%.
Yeah. So what if you had to, instead of betting one play on every game, you had to bet every play on one game? So like in the Wizards Celtics game, there's 258 available wagers.
It'd be kind of fun to track.
Mm-hmm. Also, we haven't talked about these on stream. Can we talk for a second about all this wacky multiplier
Nick,
shit?
Do you really want to go down the rabbit hole of sports betting?
I do. This is the dark side.
Guys, I'm scared because someone's gonna like lose their life savings like betting these stupid. I shouldn't say they're stupid. They're just so out in left field that you're like, how would someone ever come up with this? It's almost like they put two data scientists in a room for a year, and they're like, I want you guys to come up with the most
like convoluted
craziest
thing you can possibly bet on.
And this is what they came up with.
Okay.
These aren't even the craziest ones.
No, these are the craziest ones.
Go to the
this is the times right here. So what this is you can bet on Jason Tatum points times Bradley Beal points, not plus, times. And the way that this works is like, so say you put $1 on this bet. For every point under 1,023 that this multiplication is, you have to pay an extra $1. For every point above 1177 this multiplication ends up at, you win an extra $1. So like if Bradley Beal goes out and breaks his ankle right at the beginning of the game and he gets 0 points or something, then you owe like $1,000 on this bet.
Well, you can set a parameter.
Yeah, you can set a parameter. And it says max win or loss is capped at 800 times your stake. So this is like the ultimate sports betting rabbit hole.
Yeah, it's like you're playing because you never think that's going to happen. What you do think is like, man, what if Bradley Beal goes for 50 tonight? And then it goes in OT. Hell yeah. That's exactly how people think with this. And then all of a sudden Bradley Beal hurts his ankle and then there's a blowout and they end up with 400 total. 20 points, 20 points. So,
yeah. Or you can also do Russell Westbrook points instead of PRA points plus rebounds plus assists. You can do points times rebounds times assists.
It's yeah.
How nuts is that?
It's pretty wild. I haven't done these yet. Nick, I just wonder. We won't do it, but I wonder if is there value on these? Like if we went deep enough into like the NFL.
Oh,
I bet we could find some.
There's got to be value somewhere.
Who's gonna play it? Like we would have we'd have like one guy listening in who's like, "Oh yeah, get to the time
Let me
points
throw.
bet props."
Yeah. So this Russell Westbrook one, I actually feel like there's a lot of value on the under here.
Yeah, what the
Under
heck?
3,969 points times rebounds times assists. So if you just
20
take
times.
if you take his season averages of 22.2 points, 11.5 rebounds, and 11.7 assists, and multiply that out, you get 2,987.
It's just the points, man. It's it's funny because it's
Well,
like,
actually, no.
let's say
It's not so much the points. It's the rebounds and assists. So if one of those only ends up at like 10, then this is toast. Unless he goes for 30, like 30, 10,
well,
and 10.
Nick, what I'm saying, let's say he has
I mean,
10.
even that's only 3,000.
Let's say he has like 12 and 12, right? And then it gets into like the foul game, and then now you're just like watching the number go up and go up times 26 times 27.
Suppose.
Shit's crazy.
I mean, even that is a.
Yeah, you would have to
That's
get
still
you
a
would have to
loss.
get 30.
You need if he has 12 and 12, you need 28 to push.
Man,
But
I
yeah,
will.
long story short, those are really stupid, but they're kind of hilarious to look at. So yeah, everybody left for the most part during that discussion, which is understandable. But
I don't blame you.
to those few brave souls who are still here,
Please don't do it.
just don't do it. Say no to drugs. And I think that wraps up the stream. Thank you all, as always, for being here. It was a long one today. We went for like an hour and a half almost. I guess we had extra stuff to talk about, so that makes sense.
Yeah, had a few technical difficulties.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, head to the Discord. We'll be in there all day. Lots of action today. Got NHL, NBA, of course, baseball. So come join us.
Come join us, and good luck, as always, with the bets. We'll be back again tomorrow at 11 a.m. Mountain Time with 5 more wise baseball picks, plus some more NBA discussion